Welcome to Kansas Ag Report with your host, Bryan Hallman.
Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Bryan Hallman, and here's our lineup for today's show. In Ag News, we'll take a look at local and national headlines affecting Kansas farmers. In our Ag Feature, we talk with Aaron Popelka from KLA and get a legislative update. And inside Kansas Ag, Kansas Soybean talks about the role soybeans play in animal ag. Then Farm Bureau talks wheat crop and disease pressure. And in news you need to know, we get our weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association. We'll look back at last week's market activity with the guys from Paragon, and we'll let you know about important events coming up around the state of Kansas. Glad you could join us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Dick Edwards in Manhattan, selling America's #1 truck, the Ford F-150, for over 30 years. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. kansassoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Dick Edwards Auto Plaza in Junction City, home of this year's Motor Trend Truck of the Year, Ram Truck. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Here's our national headlines for this week in Ag News. A key deadline for making sure you can buy subsidized crop insurance next year is approaching. By June 1st, farmers who aren't getting USDA commodity programs now have to certify that they meet conservation compliance requirements in order to buy subsidized crop insurance in 2016. Just visit your local USDA Farm Service Agency office, ask for Form AD 1026, put down your name, tax ID number, and check one box, 5B, sign and date the form, and you're good to go. Prices for eggs and turkey meat are rising as an outbreak of bird flu in the Midwest claims an increasing number of chickens and turkeys. The cost of a carton of large eggs in the Midwest has jumped nearly 17% to $1.39 a dozen from $1.19 since mid-April, when the virus began appearing in Iowa's chicken flocks and farmers called their flocks to contain any spread. Turkey prices, which had been expected to fall this year, are up slightly as the bird flu claimed about 5.6 million turkeys nationwide so far. The Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas City says credit conditions weakened as farmers' incomes declined further in the first quarter of 2015. A quarterly survey of banks in the 7-state Federal Reserve 10th District indicates low crop prices and high input costs reduced profit margins and increased concerns about future loan repayments. The bank says funds were available to meet historically high loan demand, but collateral requirements remained the same or increased slightly for most farm loans throughout the district. And in local news, the Nebraska Department of Agriculture, in conjunction with the USDA Animal Plant Health Inspection Service, has confirmed the presence of a second case of avian influenza in a commercial layer flock in Dixon County. The second farm is in close proximity to the initial identified outbreak. This outbreak is in a flock of 1.8 million chickens. Governor Pete Ricketts has issued a state of emergency declaration to provide NDA and other state agencies with appropriate resources to address the situation. Ag Secretary Tom Vilsack announced Thursday that the USDA is investing $6.5 million in the Ogallala Aquifer region this year to help farmers and ranchers conserve billions of gallons of water and improve water quality. In Kansas, the goal is to reconvert irrigated cropland to dryland farming in high-priority areas. The NRCS will work where conservation can have the biggest impact on recharging the aquifer. The conservation work will conserve 1.8 billion gallons of water over 4 years. Many lawmakers have agreed on most of the spending cuts possible this fiscal year are in the pending budget plan, but were unable to decide which tax policies should be approved to fill the gap. The two amendments that would have directly affected the bottom lines of farmers and ranchers were defeated. One would have imposed a $3 property tax on every acre of land in Kansas. The amendment fell to a 7-4 vote. Then an amendment to repeal the farm machinery and equipment sales tax exemption also failed on a voice vote. Up next in our Ag Feature, we talk with Aaron Popelka from KLA and get a legislative update. You're watching Kansas Ag Report. Please stay tuned.
This segment brought to you by Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. GrassandGrain.com. A.B. Flint Motor Company, selling quality used cars and trucks in Southeast Topeka at 32nd and South Kansas Avenue. Integrity Gun and Pawn, 2 Topeka locations specializing in firearms and training. IGPawn.com to learn more. Kansas Weed Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for weeds. Online at kswheat.com.
I'm Dr. Frank Lyons, a physician here at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. As one of the only standalone stem cell centers in the U.S., we use your stem cells as therapy for arthritis and some autoimmune diseases.
I'm Dr. Andrew Pope. Here at Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center, utilizing the latest technology under strict protocols, we're able to harvest your stem cells from your own fat to treat a variety of medical conditions. The best part about it is, it's a same-day surgical procedure and requires no general anesthesia.
The 20th annual Kicker Country Stampede, starring Blake Shelton. Yeah, the boys round Florida Georgia Line. This is how we rule. Travis Tritt. Also from the Cynics main stage, Thomas Rhett. Miller Lite, the official beer of Country Stampede. Our prices increase February 28th. Get yours now. Get them now before the price goes up. Like us on Facebook or buy online at countrystampede.com.
You need a partner that you can count on to be there for your business. Providing a depth of understanding to risk management issues so you don't have to. A knowledgeable support team located in your area, delivering products and services to make you more successful.
Here at Blue River Traders, we have the greatest selection of rustic and western furniture in Kansas.
At Blue River Traders, you can select from an inventory of rustic lodge or western furnishings. With a designer on hand, Blue River Traders will help create the look you desire.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. Visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
We're at the state capitol today, and we're joined by Aaron Popelka from the KLA. Aaron, thanks for joining us, and thanks. I think this is the 4th time we're kind of talking off camera, so we're getting our legislative update. Maybe the last one. We may get one before, as the session ends. But a couple of things we want to talk about today is Senate Bill 302 got some pushback from KLA and actually got voted down, and that was a $3 property tax on all acreage across the state of Kansas. Walk us through the process of KLA kind of pushback on that.
Sure, Brian, and thanks again for having us. It's always great to be here. Essentially what happened was we're in the midst of trying to close the budget holes. One of the ideas that came from a Johnson County senator was to put, as the bill called it, a $3 excise tax on land. However, doing a little legal research, it was called an excise tax, but it was really a property tax. And the first thing we said, in terms of that bill was it was unconstitutional. The Kansas Constitution says that agriculture is supposed to be taxed according to its income and productivity. That violated that. So that was the first thing that we made mention of. Second, the average property tax on land in Kansas, this would have caused a 64% increase per acre. And when you look at grassland, it would have been even worse. It would have been a 217% increase, and so something that would have dramatically impacted the bottom lines of our producers. So needless to say, we were engaged. This was in the Senate Tax Committee. Fortunately, visiting with senators and kind of telling our story, we're able to beat that amendment when it was offered. It only garnered 4 votes and lost 7-4. So we're happy about that outcome.
Well, you look at it, and the beef industry here in the state of Kansas pumps billions into the state economy, and we're talking about a 200% increase on grasslands. And we're talking about one of the best opportunities for Kansas ranchers to grow their herds. on grasslands. It just didn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. And really what, this is kind of about is we're trying to close this budget hole, and it's kind of that old saying of don't tax you, don't tax me, tax the guy behind the tree. And well, for a Johnson County senator, agriculture is the guy behind the tree. The district that this gentleman's from doesn't have a lot of agriculture, so it's easier to point the finger at us than to look at, how do we figure our way out of this mess.
And real quick, we also got a voice veto on another bill that would have taken away some of the tax rebates that farmers get for machinery also.
Right, and it came from the same senator out of Johnson County, had support of some other Johnson County senators. Would have repealed the sales tax exemption on farm machinery. A big impact on the bottom line when you look at new combine costing over $400,000. It's a big investment. By the way, none of the other states have sales tax on their machinery and equipment. And I think the bigger thing is that was really targeted at agriculture. You look at the other industries, manufacturing, services, they enjoy similar sales tax exemptions, and really what it is to prevent business-to-business value-added taxation is the goal of those exemptions.
Perfect. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to finish up with Aaron and talk about how we're going to fill a $400 million hole. You're watching Kansas Ag Report. See you in just a minute.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life. Farmers Insurance, your best protection against the unexpected. Call Agent Dan Key at 785-408-5459. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. Blue River Traders, the finest selection of Western-style furniture for your home. BlueRiverTraders.com.
We're finishing up at the state capitol with Aaron Popelka from KLA. And Aaron, again, this is our fourth time. We'll probably get another one before the end of the year. But 402, is that right? About 402 million short coming in fiscal year?
About 406 million, and that's gotten a little short, a little smaller. First it got bigger, then it got a little smaller. So we're at about 406 with the draft budget bill. And so essentially, I think a lot of the legislators have come to the conclusion that we've got about as much cuts out of the budget as we can. And so really it's come down to which taxes are we going to raise to fill that hole.
Property taxes, we know that's kind of been put on the table, kind of been tabled again. What about income taxes?
Yeah, so the property taxes, it's been our message that we don't want to go that direction. I think the governor's been pretty clear about that too. So really what we're looking at is, do we do something consumption, like that'd be a sales tax, or do we do something income tax related? And I think the big thing on the income tax front that's been talked about by some is back in 2012 we exempted business income, including income for farmers that aren't C Corps. Right. And so there's been some discussion, well, do we put that back maybe at a lower rate, but put it back on businesses so it's a little more fair? There's some that don't want to do that, some that do. And so that's really a lot of the give and take right now.
Well, again, it's what you said was don't tax me, don't tax him, tax the guy behind the tree. Consumption, we're talking about alcohol, cigarettes, fuel, I would imagine.
Yes, that's all in there. So there's the governor initially proposed increases in liquor and cigarette taxes. That's kind of hit a stop for now. It's talked about. Fuel is in the discussion. Kind of our goal is, if we're going to do this, let's keep the dyed fuels, the off-road fuels out of it, because that tax really goes for roads. And we don't, in farm country, construction, other things that use dyed fuel, railroads, we're not on the roads. So let's not go down that direction through.
What's our time frame? Fiscal year starts July 1, I believe, is that correct?
Correct.
So we're about 2 months out from the fiscal year starting. What's our time frame from getting some of this stuff done?
Well, really, the time frame on the legislative session ran out last week. We're now in overtime. You're looking at some of the capital employee secretaries not getting paid necessarily. to keep going forward. So really, we're in crunch time. I think a lot of folks would hope that we get it done here in the next few days, but this could drag into June very easily if we don't get some consensus on issues.
Perfect. Aaron, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
You're watching Kansas Ag Report. We'll be back in just a minute.
While protein is important, that merely scratches the surface of why soybean meal is such a beneficial animal feed ingredient. U.S. soybean meal's nutritional bundle goes well beyond crude protein to include amino acids, energy, vitamins, and minerals. The value of that is especially important when it comes to pigs. Soybean meal is a great source of amino acids, and amino acids are essential for pigs. They are the building blocks for proteins, which mean muscle or lean tissue. The relationship between animal agriculture and soybean farmers has been flourishing for decades. Soybean meal has been a primary source of supplemental amino acids in animal feeds for more than 50 years. In 2013, the meal from more than 17 million bushels of soybeans went to animal agriculture in Kansas. Of that, pigs consume 57%, beef cattle consume 30%, and dairy cattle consume 7%. It is important for farmers to provide high-quality soybean meal that contains a solid nutritional bundle because that is important in swine feeds. U.S. farmers can select high-quality soybean varieties that do not sacrifice yield by asking their seed dealers for them or by using the Soybean Quality Toolbox, which is accessible via kansassoybeans.org/animal-ag on the web.
Kansas has received a lot of rain this May. Great for replenishing subsoil and stock ponds, but not so great for wheat. May rainfall often leads to disease like rust, which is impacting the majority of Kansas, and fusarium head blight or scab. K-State models are suggesting a moderate risk for fusarium infection, and while most of Kansas is safe, some wheat across north central and northeastern Kansas is flowering, and it's those fields that we definitely ought to get out and scout so we can make the proper management and harvest decisions. Last week, USDA's National Agricultural Statistics Service released their first forecast for the Kansas wheat crop, 272 million bushels, based on a 32 bushel yield and roughly 10% abandonment, up from last year, but well below the 10-year state average of 327 million bushels. On the same day, the World Agricultural Outlook Board made their first assessment of the 2015 wheat supply-demand situation, confirming that slightly greater production in 2015 would lead to slightly greater ending stocks, both in the U.S. and the world. The chief reason wheat prices have fallen $2 per bushel since mid-December, but the pendulum is swinging back. Concerns about how rust, frost, and potential harvest delays due to muddy fields might impact both wheat quantity and quality are affecting the market. Since May 5th, July hard red winter wheat futures have rallied 70 cents as traders who had previously sold are buying those contracts back. It's tough to say how much higher this market can go. Overall, grain stocks are still plentiful, but this rainy May isn't over yet, so production and quality concerns might continue until harvest. The one thing we know is that this rally is providing us an opportunity to sell above $5 per bushel, which is something I wasn't sure we'd get a chance to do a month ago.
This segment brought to you by Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. A.B. Flint Motor Company, selling quality used cars and trucks in southeast Topeka at 32nd and South Kansas Avenue. Integrity Gun and Pawn, 2 Topeka locations specializing in firearms and training. igpawn.com to learn more. Impact Satellite, your local authorized DirecTV dealer. Impact Satellite at 785-554-5974.
All the time. Monthly payments of $289, $189, or even $89. How is this done, you ask? Well, with large down payments, low mileage leases, and you must qualify for all rebates offered. Can we do this? Yes, we can. But we'd prefer to give you the straight talk, where we tell you all the information up front, and you make the decision on what vehicle and payment you want. You won't need bifocals to read the fine print here. Dick Edwards, serving the Manhattan, Fort Riley, and Junction City areas for over 30 years.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
Tammy the Pro Home Plus is all about providing warmth and kindness to aging individuals who find it difficult to live on their own. Tammy's team is made up of experienced caregivers and nurses committed to the highest level of individualized care, focusing on health and well-being, and assisting with nutrition, grooming, medications, therapies, and daily living needs, all in a warm, caring environment. Call Tammy the Pro Home Plus today at 785-383-7094 to learn how we can help.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
I will take action against herbicide-resistant weeds. I will know my weeds, and I will stop them before they go to seed. I will do whatever it takes to give my crops the upper hand, and I will use multiple herbicide sites of action because every action counts. I will take action, this time for all time.
You hear it all the time, monthly payments of $289, $189, or even $89. How is this done, you ask? Well, with large down payments, low mileage leases, and you must qualify for all rebates offered. Can we do this?
Yes, we can.
But we'd prefer to give you the straight call, where we tell you all the information up front, and you make the decision on what vehicle and payment you want. You won't need bifocals to read the fine print here. Dick Edwards, serving the Manhattan, Fort Riley, and Junction City areas for over 30 years.
You need a partner that you can count on to be there for your business. Providing a depth of understanding to risk management issues so you don't have to. A knowledgeable support team located in your area, delivering products and services to make you more successful.
The 2015 KLA Young Stockmen's Academy recently gathered for its second educational tour of the year. 21 KLA members from across the state spent 3 days in the Kansas City area touring agribusinesses and beef retailers. Merck Animal Health, the exclusive sponsor of the Young Stockmen's Academy, gave the class an inside look at the animal health industry, led a discussion on consumer perceptions of livestock production, and provided a tour of the research farm and vaccine manufacturing facility. The group toured Kansas City Steak Company and Cisco Food Services. Both companies distributed high-end beef cuts to restaurants across the U.S. For a first-hand look at the various ways beef is marketed in the meat case, the class visited Bicklemeyer Meats and Whole Foods Market. The class also had the chance to visit with consumers while distributing beef samples at 2 Hy-Vee grocery stores. YSA members heard from staff at Bartlett & Company about how they use strict risk management practices when buying and selling cattle and grain. In addition, they participated in a cooking demonstration at the Culinary Center of Kansas City to learn more about grilling and smoking beef. The third installment of the YSA class will be held in September. At that time, members will tour Kansas beef and dairy operations.
Good morning. I'm Eric Osterhaus with Paragon Ag Advisors. It's been a bit of a roller coaster in the grains this last week as a combination of both technical and fundamental factors all came into play. Let's talk about the biggest mover, wheat. We've mentioned before the effect that the U.S. dollar has in regards to our wheat market, and we've seen that recently. The U.S. dollar finally was showing signs of weakness and traded below support for several days. This set the table, so to speak, and allowed the wheat market some breathing room so that a move higher was possible if we did get some friendly fundamental news to go along. We got that news in the form of a friendly report from the wheat tour and a freeze that took place in our northern wheat growing areas. However, the trade tends to be quick to discount the boy who cries wolf in regards to crop issues for wheat, especially during this time of the year. And as soon as the U.S. dollar reversed back to the upside, our rally faded quickly. Unless the dollar reverses back lower and we get additional fundamental news to trade on that is significant and not just a rumor, expect rallies to be short-lived, at least pre-harvest. Both corn and beans looked like followers this last week as they continued to chop largely sideways, although near the bottom end of the range. It seems that we'll need some negative weather in the next several weeks to get these markets moving to the upside. And as much as I hate to sound like a broken record, look to the outside markets, the US dollar, crude, stock market, to provide insight into nearby price direction. If you have any questions on these markets or any market, give us a call at 888-452-8751. Have a productive day.
Closed captioning brought to you by Dick Edwards in Manhattan, selling America's #1 truck, the Ford F-150, for over 30 years. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Kansas Soybean Commission, the Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. kansassoybeans.org. Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Dick Edwards Auto Plaza in Junction City, home of this year's Motor Trend Truck of the Year, Ram Truck. DickEdwardsAuto.com.
Well, that's our show for today. I hope you'll join us each week for more news and information about agriculture in the state of Kansas. I'm Bryan Hallman, and thanks for watching.
Here at Blue River Traders, we have the greatest selection of rustic and western furniture in Kansas.
At Blue River Traders, you can select from an inventory of rustic lodge or western furnishings. With a designer on hand, Blue River Traders will help create the look you desire.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
Tammy the Pro Home Plus is all about providing warmth and kindness to aging individuals who find it difficult to live on their own. Tammy's team is made up of experienced caregivers and nurses committed to the highest level of individualized care, focusing on health and well-being, and assisting with nutrition, grooming, medications, therapies, and daily living needs, all in a warm, caring environment. Call Tammy the Pro Home Plus today at 785-383-7094 to learn how we can help.